There's no video. What is? Huh. I don't know what's going on. Can anybody hear me? Can anyone see you? See me? Why can't I see myself? This is so bizarre. I've never not been able to see myself. All right, well, if y'all can see me and hear me, I guess I'll continue without being able to see myself. This is so weird. I've never experienced this before. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to pull up my live stream on here. You'll have to excuse me for one quick second here. How do I mute this? I don't know how to mute that. I guess I'm there. I don't know how to mute it with and not play it. So, how's everybody doing today? This is so weird. I'm just looking at a black screen. I don't know what's happening. Help me. What's happening? How can I play this and mute the tab? Mute tab. There we go. All right. Now I can see myself in delay. All right. Okay. You'll have to excuse me for any weirdness because this is weird for me. You see, I'm glad you guys can see me. I see Mississippi Gulf Coast. South Louisiana, hello from 11 inches of snow. Oh my gosh. How do you do that? Face it, Annie, you can't really see us anyway. I know, it's just weird because I'm used to, it's just a big screen of myself and then the live chat. Thankfully, at least the live chat is there and you guys can see me. So that's all that really matters, right? We can see you and hear you beautifully. Awesome. Wind is crazy here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have had crazy wind for the last several days and crazy wind or rain all day today. Like we're under like a flood watch and like it's nuts. Sleepless in Sussex here. Is it sleepy time there? Put up a mirror and you're fine. But then I'd have to leave and go find one. I don't even think we have a portable mirror. Oh no, my husband has one, but it's little. It's coming my way in Illinois. Yeah, it's intense. Hello, Claire. How are you? Honestly, my anxiety is like through the roof today, so I'm on the struggle bus. I'll be real. So I'm gonna try and keep it together today. It's anxiety sucks, especially when it hits just all of a sudden, no real reason, just all of a sudden, just like you're just like anxious from like the inside, and you're just like, oh my gosh. I am bouncy. I'm sitting on my bouncy ball. I have one of those. I sit on this yoga ball, and that is my new chair. So that's what I'm sitting on. Bounce harder. Yeah, but if I bounce harder, from the last live stream, somebody had commented that it made the audio weird when I'm like bouncing up and down. It makes the audio kind of fluctuate a little bit too much. So I'm going to try not to bounce too hard. 12:30 a.m. better since clocks changed. Oh my gosh. It took me a full week to recover from that. I love being an hour later, but I hate spring forward. It's awful. Like every single, for the time that I can remember, like I always try and go to bed like a little bit early, and then I just literally do not fall asleep at all. Like I just don't fall asleep. And so that happens almost every single year. The day after spring day, whatever. I guess it would technically be the day of spring forward. I just literally don't sleep. So fun times. How is your cold? Oh, my cold is long gone. It only lasted for a few days. All done your fasting. I'm not fasting currently. I'm intermittent fasting. I haven't eaten yet today. I did a very small bite of a taste test like an hour ago, and I'm currently sipping on my kefir, hoping that helps with my anxiety. I also took some L-theanine, so hopefully this pit of everything just stops. Let me see. Very bouncy. Spring has sprung here. There's a lot to do in spring. Maybe it's anxiety related to that. Probably not. I'm pretty chill. Like I'm pretty much ahead of the game as far as planting goes. I got my cabbage in the ground. I got it all covered with my landscape fabric, not landscape fabric. What's that? The white cloth cover that you put over stuff. I got that, and it's an old tunnel. The cats are driving me crazy. I'm about to go get a freaking squirt gun and just blast them. Especially my female cat. Oh my gosh, she is having a heyday out there. She has scratched that thing to hell heck. So I need to figure out how to, it's not a shade cloth. It's the white one. Row covers. That's the word. But yeah, she is having the time of her life. Every time the wind blows, she just pounces on it. And I seriously, the only humane thing that I can think of is just to park it out there for a little while and squirt her every time she goes near it. It's driving me nuts. Like it's nice to have like a garden cat, but like she needs to understand her limits and where she can go and where she can't go. And I think just hunting her with a squirt gun for a couple hours is probably the only thing that's going to be able to fix it. Thanks for your tip today about using cabbage leaf to go on the top of kimchi. So cool getting into this. You are more than welcome. I love answering questions. I'm glad it was helpful. Row covers for bugs. Yeah, it was for the bugs, and I'm trying to do what I'm able to do to limit the access that armadillos have to my garden. And believe me, I don't actually think the row covers will help with that, but like I can't think of anything else that I can do short of getting a dog. So if these don't work, I think my next step is just going to be to get a dog, and you can chase it out of the garden and keep them out there at night. You want to make your cheesy sauerkraut balls. They sound good. They are. And another alternative that I intended to try for St. Patrick's Day, I'm doing a video around that time, but I never got to it, is like a Reuben ball, and using like Swiss cheese and sauerkraut and corned beef, and then like dipping it in Thousand Island sauce. I want to try that. So I don't know if I'll do a video for it, but I want to try it. I've never seen an armadillo live in person. I never had until I moved here. I didn't know they were this far north. I thought it was just like a Texas and like Oklahoma thing, but nope. They are here too. Armadillos are a giant potato bug. They are. They're giant potato bugs that are so much more destructive, because it's not like they don't just go after a few roots. It's like they just sit there and they just tear up your whole garden overnight. They're night owls. They're night animals. So they just come and just rip everything out of the ground. It sucks. They destroyed so much of my garden last year. Armadillos are what happens when a possum and a pill bug hybridize. That's exactly what they are. They're awful. Panic and anxiety attack are awful. I've recently gone through some days when I couldn't go out of the house. Yeah, honestly, the best thing, because I have pretty bad anxiety. It's a lot better than it used to be. Honestly, I didn't even realize that I had a problem with anxiety until like a year ago. And because it was more than a year ago. It was a few years ago. It was when I was still living in Washington, and I was talking to my naturopath, and I was telling her how much coffee I drink, because I still drink a tremendous amount of coffee. And she's like, doesn't that affect your anxiety? Or doesn't that give you anxiety? And I'm like, what are you talking about? No. And then like a few weeks later, I'm just like, oh, I do have anxiety, don't I? And then I cut it out for a good long while, and it had no impact whatsoever. And I'm not like physically addicted to it. I can take it or leave it. I don't get headaches. My husband, he is very addicted to it. He only has 1 cup of coffee a day. And if he misses that cup of coffee towards later on in the afternoon, he starts getting a headache. And then one of us will be like, you haven't had your cup of coffee today, have you? And then he starts drinking his cup of coffee, and the headache goes away. Because like sometimes it takes a while for us, either of us, to realize what's going on, because it's such a bad headache. And then I'm like, oh, you haven't had coffee yet, have you? That's what wild pigs do here. Yep. Except you can't keep a fence to keep the armadillos out. They'll climb a really large fence. they'll just climb right up it, no matter how strong it is. Like, I know wild hogs are difficult to fence in out as well. Like, they can kind of get through it, but for the most part, you can kind of deal with it. I'm being cautious with my milk kefir and only taking a few tablespoons a day. How fast can I up that amount without having issues? The only way to find that out is to increase it until you have issues, unfortunately. But I think you're probably safe to increase it by at least like a tablespoon a day. I feel like that is a pretty safe way to get it. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I drink this quart jar every day. Every day I think about it. I'd say I miss like maybe 1 or 2 days a week, but for the most part, I'm pretty on top of it. It really does help me. It's helped me a lot with my gut health. It does help with my anxiety. It helps with a lot of different things. So it's the most powerful probiotic on earth when you make it yourself. So why not? For the cost of a quart of raw milk, it's like, was it like $1.25, I think, for me. Can you electrify your fence to keep them out? If I had a fence, I could electrify them, but I don't have a fence. So that would be very, very expensive. Pigs go right under any fence. Super hard to keep them out. You pretty much have to harvest them. There you go. I don't really care to harvest armadillos because the chance of them having leprosy. I know that it's a very small number and a very specific breed of armadillos that have leprosy, but I don't know how to tell the difference. So I'd rather just not shoot them in my garden. Just chase them out and then take care of them after that. Sprinkle cayenne pep. I was reading that one. What did that say? Tammy, I was reading that. Sprinkle cayenne pep. Come on, retype it. If you had to pick your favorite and most tasty fermentation, what would it be? Depends on my mood. If I'm feeling spicy, kimchi. If I'm not feeling spicy and like I just want something to go along with what I have, I would say the beet kraut that I have. But honestly, I love them all. There have been very few ferments in my life that I haven't liked. Fermented cherry tomatoes, but I have since figured out, or I have my friend Julie over at Rowan Co Farms. She takes a small amount of it and adds it to her pasta sauce, and it really intensifies the flavor of the pasta sauce. So I do want to try that. I also did not care for fermented pineapples, or what was the other one? Onions. I did not care for onions, but I think the reason the onions, I let it go a little bit too long thinking it would intensify the flavor, but it kind of just made it taste like fermented cardboard. It just took all of the intense flavors of onions out of it. And I love, like, I could just eat a raw onion, like just like an apple. I love it. So anyways, okay. So rant over. I want to get that quart. I mixed in a little honey and oh my, I love it. Yep. I am currently doing like a modified carnivore thing. I'm just doing carnivore plus ferments, and it's amazing. But so I just add in the flavored stevia drops, and I really want to try acclimating myself to just having it plain, because I think that would help with the health benefits. I had somebody comment on one of my videos, and they were talking about the flavor of it and how possibly the stevia drops could affect the bacterial content of it. I don't know how true that is, but I want to try it out to see if, who knows. I obviously don't want to do anything to damage the bacteria that's in there. So, we got a couple of cheap dollar store solar light things. They kind of look like fireworks pattern. We put it in our garden corners and have seen fewer nighttime guests. Interesting. We were talking on here, I think it was a few months ago, about installing like a radio and turning on talk radio. So like overnight, like to get it like a waterproof speaker and just play, a moderate level that wouldn't piss off the neighbors. So I do want to try that one too. Do you know if sauerkraut could cause gallbladder pain? I don't know a whole heck of a lot about gallbladders, but there's nothing in it that I'm aware that could affect the gallbladder. There's no grease in there. I mean, it's literally just fermented cabbage. So if you're experiencing pain around your gallbladder, I mean, do you have a pre-existing issue with it? I'd be curious about that. But I don't have gallbladder issues, so I've never done the research on it. The only thing I know that can really affect it is if you have very greasy foods. So, and the acidity in the kombucha should cut the grease. So it doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna have to say I don't know because I haven't researched it. Is there a video for making for your beet kraut? Yes, it is a very recent one. It is it's like 5 different ferments, 5 easy ferments or something like that. It's a recent one. Tiffany, if you have the opportunity, if you could copy and paste that link for him, I'd appreciate it. I tried to ferment Brussels sprouts and messed up somewhere. Oh man. I know that I want to say it was, oh gosh, not this past fermented February, but the one before. I cannot think right now. But somebody in that collaboration, I'm sorry, I can't remember their name off the top of my head. They did fermented Brussels sprouts and it was bomb.com. Made everybody want to try it, but try again. Absolutely try again because I hear it's pretty dang delicious. Cabbage can cause heartburn pain. Yes, if you have issues with stomach acid, it can I don't know if I say cause it, but it can definitely bring it about. But I don't know if it's necessarily, it's hard to separate the two, but I don't know. I love plain milk kefir and yogurt. I like plain yogurt. I just haven't acquired the taste yet completely, like preferentially for plain kefir. But I do love plain yogurt and I can eat it all day long. So I can't imagine it's too far behind. I want to try honey garlic with ginger and maybe onion too, all in one jar. That does sound delicious. I have several jars of aging honey garlic. I swear they're like 3 years old. I just don't eat. I don't even know why I made them. I don't eat. I don't eat honey, so it makes no sense why I did that. But alas, I did. I found einkorn flour and my sourdough bread is getting to awesome stage. Love it. Pratt family, thank you. Thank you for the links, Tiffany. Your help with kefir has been life-changing for us. Yay! My hubby has type 2 diabetes and the ferment does not affect his glucose at all. I add strawberry keto protein powder with monk fruit drops. Oh, that sounds delicious. Oh, I'm so happy for you guys. I just got the Fermenting Vegetables book this week, the one Tululu used in February. Never fermented, but going to try with this year's harvest. Love it. I have that book over there somewhere. I have a, let's see if I can lift this up. There's a delay. Oh, I can't do it. It made it shut off. But anyways, I have a bookshelf over there and like half of it is fermenting books. Pratt family made the fermented Brussels sprouts. Yep. Had gallstones years back, but nothing since then. Acute attacks a couple of times recently, possibly the same days I ate kraut. I know oranges can cause it, oddly enough. Oh, that is interesting. See, I just haven't done the research on it, so I know very little about it. I used to know a couple people who had their gallbladder taken out, and that forces them to avoid really greasy stuff, so that's the only reason I know that. Started my potato flake sourdough this weekend. We'll get to make potato sourdough bread midweek. So excited. That does sound exciting. What is the difference between potato flake sourdough and a standard sourdough, other than just adding the potato flakes? Like, what does it do for the ferment? I wondered if it was a known thing. Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of at all. No flour. Oh, so it's just a potato ferment, huh? That sounds really interesting. I've stopped doing sourdough. I keep going through these phases. Like I'll just make it for like a week or two and then I just stop. And honestly, I left Timothy out on the counter for like 4 days without feeding it, and then I put him back in the fridge without feeding it. So I don't know what Timothy's current status is. Probably going to need life support, but I figured better put it in the fridge than not. What I really need to do is to hydrate it because I don't want to kill the sourdough that my sister sent me. I love my honey garlic ferment. I take it when I have been exposed to sick people. I get well long before them, even though they are under doctor's care. Yeah, doctor's care. You killed my Wendy's baby. I don't, maybe I did, but I bet if I got the gumption to actually nurse it back to health, I could, and then just dehydrate it. Thank you for being Heather being gluten-free. I gave up sourdough starters. Now I will try this. Awesome. Yeah, it's gluten-free. My partner that hated sauerkraut is now hooked on our homemade ones. Love it. I wish I could get my hubby on it. He'll only eat spicy stuff. I mean, he'll try things if I make them, but I know he doesn't enjoy them, so I don't tend to have him do it unless it's spicy. Then he usually likes it. Potato flakes, yeast, sugar, water, flour is used when making the bread, but it's just fed with potato flakes. Interesting. What was that? I bought a bottle of plain kombucha with no flavor and have gotten a SCOBY to start after 3 weeks. The recommendation was to wait 7 weeks before using. Awesome. I don't think I've ever tried growing a SCOBY. I know that my sister did. Did you make a video on that one, Tiffany? If you did, post the video on it. Thanks for your tip. My milk kefir grains are happy and healthy. They're still very small, but making great kefir. They'll grow. They will grow. If you're using cow's milk, they shall grow. The sourdough starter is pretty resilient. I've learned recently not fret. Yeah, I've taken many a sourdough starters to the edge and back. I even had it be super moldy and brought it back really hairy. Looks like a coat of fur on top, and I brought it back. The ads are terrible. They interrupt right at the good parts. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. It is not my choice anymore. But if you guys are watching live, I will not be even slightly offended if you hit skip, because the whole point of being on a live is to not have the ads, or to be live. So I will not be offended, and then you'll only be behind 5 seconds. I just bought a SCOBY, Jennifer, but wanted to try to grow one from a bottle of kombucha too. Sweet. I have my first ever sauerkraut going. Like I said, I would last week on here. No bubbles yet, but my hopes are high. I love it. You'll get there. Last year I started my kombucha from Tiffany's video. Awesome. Did not restart it after the ads. Hit refresh. Well, you can't hear me say that because you're not watching the video. But if you can hear me, hit refresh. Growing very quickly. My dog is constantly waiting for a grain dump. Nice. I think it was Tiffany's video. It was deaf during fermented February. Awesome. Kombucha 2 ways. There you go. That's the link. I use crushed pork rinds as a substitute for breadcrumbs. Great for breaded meat and fish. I'm considering trying it for pancakes or muffins. Yeah, I am enjoying it. And it's great because if you buy too many pork rinds and they get stale, it works great in that sort of thing. I don't tend to do fancy recipes though. That's why I don't do a whole lot of cooking videos, because I will just cook up a pound of ground sausage or a pound of ground meat or beef, and I'll just mince it up, and then I'll just top it with 4 eggs, some fermented food of some sort, and that is literally all I eat for a whole day. That's just what I've been doing lately. So I'm not adventurous. I don't do a whole lot. My husband's the same. He doesn't care if it's repetitive. So for him, I usually just cook up either a couple of patties and chop them up, and then saute them in the bowl in the pan with a ridiculously epic amount of diabetes-inducing barbecue sauce, and just let it cook until it gets crispy. It looks really good. It's almost caramelized. Or I'll do some pork chops and cut those up and do the same thing. And that's what he's been having for lunch pretty much every day since we got our pigs. So neither of us really minds, just repetitive. I mean, I throw some other different stuff in there every once in a while. But yeah. I wanted to try kombucha, but worried. I've had 2 kefir sodas explode in my kitchen when I opened. What kind of bottle are you using? I recommend people not use the flip top bottles because of that very reason. I just recycle my old kombucha bottles, and I use those. Or when I'm doing them for sale, I use the beer bottles with the crimp top lids, the typical beer bottles with the lids, and those work great. Did you refrigerate it before you tried to open it? I've grown a successful SCOBY using plain raw kombucha, but the best kombucha SCOBY I ever had was using a vinegar SCOBY. Interesting. I've never tried that. The best one that I have is Tibetan. I like the Tibetan SCOBY. It's amazing. Like, it never gets too acidic. Never. It's like I've let it go for like 3 months and it's still a pleasant level of acidity. It's crazy. Can you do more kombucha videos? I've done one recently. I have one mostly filmed that's like a how-to kombucha, but the kombucha didn't really turn out because I filmed it from a standard SCOBY, and that one just got too acidic and it was like past its prime and it didn't really get very bubbly. But I did just film, it's kind of a fun one. I made a short out of it, making kombucha. I'm hoping that I will have the video out next week. It's more like a vlog form, but I mean, I process like 40 gallons of kombucha a month. So it's hard to film it and not get too repetitive. Like, I got to come up with like fresh ideas. So it's not just like the same video every single month, but I do make a lot of kombucha. I mean, I got a shirt that says kombucha. I don't know if you can see it. It's on delay. You can. I'm like Clark Kent of kombucha. I don't get the ads on Brave browser, but there was still some buffering spots. Yeah, it's bound to happen. I'm subscribed. I don't have many on other channels. Well, I'm happy you're here. Ever since I learned how to pressure can ugly chicken, I'm loving chicken salad with homemade mayo. Yeah, I only like ugly chicken canned. I don't like pre-cooking it and then canning it. And my husband's the same way. It's like a texture thing. The texture is so much better, and it like kind of almost holds its shape much better than if you do the you pre-cook it and then can it. It's just dry and it flakes apart like crazy. Don't like it. Made turkey meatloaf with pork rinds. Oh, that does sound really good. It's so weird that I don't get the ads on lives. I don't pay for no ads or anything. Maybe they aren't subscribed. As far as I know, everybody should get the ads. But I don't know. I have the premium. I pay for the premium. So I don't deal with ads because I just don't have the mental ability to deal with ads. So I figure it's worth my sanity for like $14 a month. I will try those bottles. I have been using Flip Top, and no, I forget to refrigerate first. Yeah, you got to refrigerate it first. Get it nice and cold, and that will really, really, really help with the bubbles when you open it. The Flip Top bottles, like, there's nothing inherently wrong with them. Like, they're good and they're great for holding on to carbonation. But the problem is that when you get the ones that are intended for fermentation, it can hold so much pressure, that like you get like the explosions, whereas the other ones, like, it'll kind of seep out. If it gets overwhelming, it'll kind of seep out, or the lid will buckle, so that you're not dealing with like borderline explosion level of carbonation. Subscribing. I'm subscribed and I just got an ad. It's a pretty random thing. Yeah, like I said, I have no control over it whatsoever. It's just YouTube. What is the acronym SCOBY mean again, please? It is a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast. I get good SCOBY when I make vinegar from leftover wine. Who am I kidding? I had to buy the wine to specifically make vinegar from it. There's no leftover wine in this household. Nice. I enjoy wine. We stopped drinking back in like August. So I don't anymore. Does the caffeine get eaten up in the kombucha process? A tremendous amount of it does, yes, but it does remain if you are very sensitive to caffeine. For me, I thrive on caffeine. I have ADHD, and it works as kind of the opposite. Like, it doesn't give me a high. It kind of calms my mind and it calms me down. So like, I can drink coffee pretty late in the day. And whether, I mean, I know I drink it late in the day and I have insomnia, but there's zero difference between when I do and when I don't. Like, the two are, in my experimentation, unrelated, but I could be wrong. I definitely prefer ugly chicken thighs too instead of breasts. Absolutely. 100%. I hate chicken breasts. The only thing it's good for is to make like chicken salad out of, like with all the mayonnaise added to it. And that's about the only redeeming quality to it. I want to try because my husband likes kombucha better than kefir soda. Me too. I hate kefir. But it is the store-bought, so it's not sure if he will like homemade, but willing to try. There you go. If he likes the sweetness of it, just make sure that you do not ferment it for very long, because it gets, in my opinion, it gets gross, and I don't care for it. I don't get ads because I pay for premium. Also, I was going to buy flip top lid bottles, so I'm glad to see your suggestion here. Yeah, I really like the beer bottles. It's just, like the standard 12-ounce beer bottles with the long neck, and you just get the lids that go on top of it, and you just crimp it. Works fantastic. It's also a great way to draw attention at events. People are like, "What you got there?" And so it's almost like advertising at that point. Hope you get a financial kickback from the ads then, Anna. It's an all right amount. I mean, it's definitely a very, very, very small amount per hour as to what I invest in it. But I'd rather make really cool stuff, and it's almost like a hobby for me. Hopefully it'll turn into more, but as of yet, it's it's like it's a pretty part-time income, very extremely part-time income at a very double full-time amount of work. Italian Jardiniera. I can't say that. My tongue doesn't work like that. Is usually packed in oil in jars. Is that likely jarred that way, or could it be pickled or fermented in oil? I wouldn't. I don't suspend anything in oil. Really, I can't think of anything that I would. It's just the risk of botulism is too high for me, for my comfort level. I can't think of a reason that I would do that. I got new radio for the garden this year, and I'm going to add mountain lion and other predator sounds between the music. I like your thinking, Katana. Try that. The only time I mix them is when I can pretty rotisserie chicken from Costco. For whatever reason, it's slightly less dry because chemicals. That's why. Home pressure can chicken. Yep. It's raw packed pressure can chicken. Ugly chicken is just, ugly chicken is just, I missed where you were asking that. Oh, what's ugly chicken? Yeah, it's just like you put raw chicken in the jar, and Lisa over at Sutton's Days has coined the term ugly chicken because it looks ugly in the jar. And so she kind of coined the term, and it really took off after that. Try that. The only time I mix them, I read that. I tend to leave the ads in except on a live, my way of helping support channels I watch. I appreciate that. Has anyone else tried adding yogurt to homemade mayo? It's supposed to culture a significantly extended lifespan. I haven't added yogurt, but I've added kombucha. I love fermented mayonnaise. It's delicious, and it does help a lot with it, with the extended lifetime. It started over. What started over? Hit live. Hit the live button if you're talking about the live stream. An actual lion would be foolproof. Yeah, until it comes after you. You see, thank you for explaining. Calm yeast sauerkraut in jars only happen once. Tried a 1 gallon crock with weights on top for time. Bigger batch. Definitely a calm battle. Yep. What kind of crock did you use? Was it like an open one, or was it like the water seal that has like the moat around it with the lid? Because I have tried so many different times, so many different ways to ferment in the open crocks. I gave up. Like literally I have 3 giant crocks just sitting outside waiting to figure out how to drill holes in them to turn them into like planters, because I want to break them. I don't want to throw them away, but I don't want to use them either. I hate them. I always struggle so bad with calm yeast and mold in those open crocks. It's awful. Mama would have been so tickled way back in the day at the name Ugly Chicken. Yep. I use fermented mayo and yogurt to make ranch dressing. Oh yeah, it's really good. I even just do, like, I will strain kefir until it gets to the right texture, and then I'll just add the ranch seasoning to it and then have that. It's so good. Tile drill bits for holes in crocks. Oh, I'll have to do that. What lids are on your open crocks? Just loose fitting thing or none? None. I don't have lids. They do make lids. Do I have one handy? I don't think I do. It must be somewhere else. But it's not like a tight fitting lid. Mold can easily go in and out. Usually I would cover it with like saran wrap, but even that didn't really help a whole lot. Diamond drill bit and put water in the bottom of the crock to put holes in them. All right. What was I read that? Who has a good fermented mayo video? I do. It's like 2 years old. Just go to my channel and type in fermented mayo, and then it should pop up, unless Tiffany's handy in the chat. It's so funny. Right now, Tiffany, like, she tells me Monday's her kombucha day, and whenever she's here on the live, she's making kombucha while we're doing the live stream. So just know, Tiffany Homestead, she's just making kombucha right now. And anytime she can break herself away to add to the chat experience. See, accurate. She's making kombucha right now. So I always appreciate it, because I know when she's done typing on her computer, she has to go back and wash her hands. So I appreciate it. Can you ferment ketchup? What would you add to ferment it? Yes, you can. I know that, I'm pretty sure she has a video on it, but Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. She even has it in her book that she has. It's over there on my bookshelf, but I don't want to get up and grab it. But I believe Off Grid with Doug and Stacy has a really old video about it. I made fermented ketchup this week, used a hydrated tomato puree, and I liked it. Good to know. Jess also did a video on fermented mayo. Awesome. Do a live kombucha making. Do you have any idea how long it takes me to make kombucha? I didn't even get through 3/4 of it, and I was doing it for like 16 hours yesterday. I don't think I could do that. It would take way too long. The prep that would go into it. I'm not going to do that. It's just more in vlog form. Because, like, I don't do just like a gallon, and I don't know, maybe someday I could, if I had the ability to break down the cycle of it and get several good jars of it going. Just do like 5 gallons. Well, I did 40 gallons minus 8 is 32, minus 5 is math. I don't know. But it's an interesting idea. But I can't, even like 5 gallons would be a lot to do in a live stream. That was meant to be a request, not a command. Or you like? Oh yeah, I didn't take it as a command. Don't worry. I definitely took it as a request. I'm just trying to process in my head if it's something even remotely possible. 27. Yeah, I did 16 plus 8, whatever that is. Was that 24? I did 24. Big batch 5-gallon bucket with rubber stopper and airlock. Would that eliminate mold issues? 5-gallon bucket with rubber stopper and airlock. It would eliminate mold issues, but then you'd be extracting a lot of the toxins that are in the plastic bucket. So you're kind of trading off there. Yes, Stacy does have videos on fermented ketchup. Awesome. I use my sous vide to pasteurize a dozen raw eggs. They keep well. Love using brine from veggies to ferment the mayo. Only way we have mayo now. Awesome. Is it a bad idea to put a tight lid on milk kefir? No, I do it. I mean, I don't like, when I'm doing the first fermentation, I don't like horribly crank it on, but it's definitely a little less than fingertip tight. And then when I'm doing the second fermentation, I crank it on there so that it will retain, ooh, I'm all over the place here, so that it will retain the carbonation. Sorry, I'm trying not to be all over the place. I know it messes with the audio, but it just doesn't work. You just need to move. Hey, Easy. Hey, back at you. That is how I met Anna at Stacy's fermenting class at HOA. True fact. Pasteurizing my eggs helps family feel better about homemade mayo. What's wrong with homemade mayo? I eat it all the time. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't get it. What's wrong with it? What are you fermenting currently? A lot of kombucha, Jun. That might be it. I just did a massive fermentation batch, and I jarred it all up and put it in the fridge, so I don't have a lot. Oh, kefir. I got kefir going, milk kefir. Could you freeze dry a SCOBY, or is that going to kill the poor little blighter? Oh, it's not affecting the audio. That's good to know because I enjoy bouncing. I don't know a whole lot about freeze drying. I don't have one, and I've never done a lot of research on it, so I don't know the answer to that. One way that you could try is just to do it and then see if it makes kombucha afterwards. You could do it as an experiment with an extra SCOBY. How do you pasteurize your own eggs? I don't. Or are you asking the person in the live chat? I've never pasteurized an egg. You hear, Ray? I'm confused. I don't know. Oh, I'm getting crap all over my desk here. So live chat stopped. I am drinking milk kefir. It's delicious. I was having a major battle with anxiety before I started on here. Now, at least for now, I'm good. So I think the combination of some L-theanine and some milk kefir did the trick. So honestly, I thought I was going to have to bail early because it was so bad. Ray is your buddy. Sweet. Will you try to freeze dry one if I get growth of a second? Oh, we'll try. I thought you were asking me. I was like, I can't. I don't have one. Let me know how it goes, though. I'm very curious about that. They are just nervous about straight up raw egg consumption. Why? I eat raw eggs all the time. Like every day. Literally. Well, yeah. Because I almost never cook the whites all the way through, and I don't cook my yolks at all. I just eat them. Like you just take the yolks out and you just put them on whatever you're eating. It makes a delicious sauce. I hope they get over that though, because raw eggs are so good for you, especially the raw yolks. Raw egg whites are a great chelator. If you have heavy metal toxicity, it's great for that. You ever try raw egg on a waffle? I've tried raw egg white yolks. I don't care for the texture of the raw whites, so unless I'm dealing with a chelation issue, I wouldn't just like slurp a raw egg. My husband does. Like he'll add it to like his protein powders and stuff. Like he can eat like dozens at a time. He'll just drink them. Ugh. I don't like the texture of the whites, but I love raw egg yolks. Raw eggs from the store are more sketchy. True. That is an excellent point. We just have homestead eggs, so. Freezing often will cause fermented molecules to burst. Might not kill it, but it will compromise it. Good to know, Tiffany. Thank you. Why does it seem like you might puke? I have no idea. That's just perception, because I'm fine. Oh, you mean like if I put raw eggs on my waffle? I don't eat waffles, though. You're confusing me today. I learned how to pasteurize raw eggs from Limoncello Kitchen. Good. I mean, if it makes them more comfortable, I mean, hopefully they'll be able to get over it because it's just so healthy, especially the yolks. Raw egg yolks are a must for carbonara sauce. But don't you cook the carbonara sauce? I guess maybe I don't know what that is. I have cobalt and chromium in my blood, but not sure I could eat raw eggs without. Well, my husband just mixes it in with his protein shakes. And I mean, do the research yourself. I make no health advice, none of that. All the disclaimers. I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on YouTube. But from my understanding, raw egg whites are a very powerful chelator. So if you do have issues with that, it is something for you to do your own research on. Not on my end. I don't know what you're talking about. Any hooser. Did any of you guys? Okay, so I'm kind of obsessed with making really cool. You guys know, like those of you who watch my videos, like I do this splicing. You look like you might get sick. I'm not. So, we can move along. But like you take the, I do the videos and then I splice them to the music. I did one about filling up the raised bed. Um, did you guys watch that one? I'm obsessed with it. I just made one today with kombucha. It's a different song, different beat, different everything. But like I'm pretty dang obsessed with them. They're so much fun. They take hours. They take like each one of those. Like that was a 54-second clip, and it probably took me 6 hours to edit. The one I did today took a lot less time, but they're so fun to make. I think it's like a dopamine thing, with the ADHD, and you're looking for a dopamine kick. And when I get it just right, and it just like flows perfectly with get the movement just right, oh my gosh, it is so much fun. Is kombucha a vegetable? No, kombucha it's a fermented drink. It's basically fermented sweet tea. It tastes a little bit vinegary, a little bit sweet. It's really hard to explain kombucha taste to somebody who hasn't had kombucha without making it sound gross, but it is not gross. Give it a try. Buy the GT's brand kombucha. My favorite one is the gingerberry. It's basically, isn't that like a swile? I don't know what a swile is, but try buying one and give it a taste. I recommend the GT's brand because they're fermented true. They're fermented. Oh, 1 second. They're fermented like for 30 days, which is standard, and it reduces a lot of the, what do you call it? The sugar that's in it. So it's a lot healthier that way. Kombucha is amazing. I agree. I think it looked like you were going to burp after taking a drink. So that's what they are thinking. I have no idea. Kombucha is amazing. Thought it was brilliant to use it as a short too. Yeah, that was fun. I did the next one. I did it as a, intentionally filmed it like in the vertical form. And I intentionally filmed it that way. So I'm just like, that was my first foray into trying to intentionally make a short. So we'll see how it goes. All the other, like, I think I've done like 3 or 4 other shorts, and those ones were just not intentionally filmed as a short. So hopefully it works out. Ginger and turmeric kombucha is divine. Shopbot will try our own. It's fine. Oh yeah, I like any kombucha that has ginger in it. It's delicious. Your bed video was awesome. Love the editing. Thank you. I enjoyed it so much. It's so much fun. I don't know why I get so much joy out of it. Would get the GT be in the fridge at the store? Yes, it would be. It is. Oh, I don't have a bottle in here, but yeah, GT's brand. I believe it's like also says Synergy on there. Fantastic. They ferment it for 30 days, which is what is required to get the true amount of acetic acid, which is one of the acids that's really good for why you drink kombucha. If you ferment it for less than 30 days, obviously depending on temperatures and stuff like that, that plays a big role in it. But for the most part, 30 days is kind of ideal. That's what I do mine at. I do the first fermentation for 30 days, and then I bottle it up and let it ferment for about another week. This time around, I finally actually remembered to do the secondary bottle, or one extra bottle that's plastic, so you can feel the carbonation in it. Because I keep like opening it and I'm like, oh, it's not carbonated yet. Oh, it's not carbonated yet. And then I have to drink it, which is, not a bad deal. But like those are made intended to be sold. So I like to not have to open ones when I don't have to. So with the plastic bottle, I'm not going to drink the stuff that's in the plastic bottle, but like I can squeeze it and I can tell when it's reached a good amount of carbonation. Your mic is sounding perfect, and I hope you weren't offended by me. Oh, I wasn't at all. No, I always appreciate feedback. Like no worries whatsoever. No, I was trying to take it to heart. And like if it is like, if I'm going in and out and in and out, like obviously that's frustrating. And I'd like to know stuff like that. So none whatsoever. Don't even worry. Would the GTB in the fridge? Oh, I read that one. I haven't found a way to brew the sweetness out of kombucha. I think it's just not for me. How long have you fermented it for? I mean, you can go for up to like 3 months without getting any real negative ramifications. If you ferment it for that long, however, it won't get very bubbly because there has to be a certain amount of sugar in the bottle. Stop. I wouldn't set my hitting the stop button. But there has to be a certain amount of carbohydrates in the bottle for the second fermentation in order for it to bubble. So it's a direct correlation. There are other factors, but like if there's not enough sugar in there when you cap it off for the second ferment, it won't be very bubbly, but it'll cut a lot of the sweetness if you ferment it for longer. You could definitely try adding less sugar and see if you still get a good result from it. How long do you ferment Curtido? I fermented for at least a month. I really like a nice long, super sour Curtido. It's just delicious. I fermented it for up to 6 weeks. Oh, Dominic, you got a ways to go. You can definitely go longer than that. But like I said, it just won't have a lot of bubbliness to it when you second ferment it. But if you're just trying to get some of the sweetness out, you can go longer than that. Trust me. It'll get pretty ripe around the 3-month mark. Ask me how I know. Because I've done it accidentally. But yeah, I kind of like to have a little bit of sweetness in my kombucha, but I don't like it to be really sweet. I like kind of right in the middle sweet spot. What's a sweet spot in my opinion? I guess everybody has their own sweet spot, but I definitely like it to have a good amount of acidity to it, but have a little bit of sweetness. So it's more on the acidic side, but still sweet. Synergy kombucha is all I drink. I'm hoping to make my own in the near future, though. You can grow your own SCOBY. Just buy the plain GT Synergy, and you can make your own. 3-month kombucha curls your toes. It sure does. Even my pigs wouldn't eat it. I'm not even joking. I tried so hard to get them to eat it, and they would not. They were just like, screw you. Sounds like my son's getting home. Kombucha, love it all. Me too. It took me months to find my sweet spot. It's a good spot. Exactly. Yeah, when I was there at your place, Tiffany, the kombucha that you had made, it was just too sweet for me. I didn't really care for it. Just because it was like, woo! And I was trying to do carnivore at the same time. So I was like, this is kind of negating all the effects of doing carnivore because I'm drinking so much sugar. But I'm glad you found your sweet spot. It is a challenge. Like it's an experiment. Like everybody likes their own. And if you're going to go to all the trouble to make your own kombucha, you may as well figure out what you like and make it how you like it. You know, that's my opinion on it. Like I make my kombucha different than I do for people to sell at market because I like it very acidic. Not like extremely like teeth rotting acidic, but pretty acidic. And whereas people, when I'm selling it at markets and stuff like that, they like it a little bit more on the sweet side. So, I tend to make it a little bit more sweet for them. Darn it. Sorry, guys. Let me see. What do we got going on around here? I just did the kombucha. I ran out of kombucha of juice though. So Malachi, he went to town and for something unrelated. And thankfully he was able to stop at the store, picked up more juice so that I can finish it off. And then if anybody in here who's local, I'm gonna be at the Baker Creek event next weekend. I don't think it's not this coming weekend, but it's the following weekend. I'll be selling there. And then I'm also going to be traveling to Alabama for the Keepers of the Old Ways. So anybody in Alabama, say hey. And they also need volunteers. So anybody who wants a free ticket, food, they offer a bunch of different stuff for the volunteers. Is definitely well worth your time. And you don't volunteer for the entire time. Like you take shifts and just kind of help with like parking or whatever it might be, running around doing errands, stuff like that. So anybody who wants some pretty good stuff, look into the Keepers of the Old Ways. Took me months to find my sweet. Oh, I read that one. The GT's mango is my favorite store-bought. I don't think I've tried the mango. I tend to I tend to just get the gingerberry when it's available. Otherwise, I get the trilogy. And I do like, they have one that's like blue, like from, I think, Spirulina or something like that one. That one's really good too. Have you ever fallen off your ball? No, not unintentionally. Like sometimes I'll just roll around and because like I have a really messed up back. Like my lower back is like, it's pretty bad. You wouldn't be able to tell because I kind of just work through it. But like my lower back it's getting worse and worse and worse, probably because I don't pay attention to how painful it is. But sometimes I'll just lay like arched over my ball and just sit there for a while, kind of help stretch it out a bit. But I've never unintentionally fallen off of it. I just tried some kombucha that I was about to throw out. It's been under my sink for around 3 months. It's perfect. Told ya. Told ya. I knew it. If you went long enough, it'd be good. I'm glad you found something you like. My husband loves the gingerberry. So good. I can recommend somewhere you could stay. Are you close by? You see, I am 12 days into my red cabbage onion kraut, and I'm trying to make kale kraut. Can't wait to try them. I've never tried making kale kraut. I need to try it. I have not seen the mango. I don't think. Mango is one of my favorite fruits, mine too, but I don't care for it as much fermented. It's really good when you make, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but it's like a vinegar pickled mango. It's like a Filipino specialty. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So good. The blue GTs is my favorite. Yeah, it's just not very widely available. So you can only get it with places that have a really big stock of GTs. 5,000 miles away. Yep. No, I meant for her to stay with you. I wish I could stay with her. But it's her year. We alternate years. I'm on my live. Malachi, just go home. We alternate years. Like last year was my turn. I went to visit her. This year's her turn. At some point, she's going to come and visit me. And then next year, I'll go visit her. The kombucha brand Tapuat Brewing Ammunition Kombucha is intentionally made for starting without a SCOBY. Give me a very healthy SCOBY first time from Dork County, Wisconsin. Cool. In September, fermented mango. That actually sounds good to me. The problem is that it ferments all the sweetness out of it. It's just, I didn't care for it fermented. I really did like it pickled though. I am doing great. How are you, Patricia? I've successfully grown scobies from 2 types of store-bought. Nice. Nice trip to look forward to, Tiffany. Absolutely. Hey, I was watching Becky. Yeah, I saw her because I have her notifications turned on for her, and it popped up and said she was live like 2 minutes before I went live, and I was like, well, there goes that live. But I was surprised there were still as many people as there was. I want to film a garden tour there. Ooh, that would be so fun. You could totally do a garden tour while you're here and help in the garden too, of course, because it's going to be September. So it'll still be alive and well. We'll probably still even have, there's honestly no reason why we wouldn't have like tomatoes and peppers and all kinds of stuff. Sorry, I'm drinking my kombucha. Helps with my anxiety. That's not kombucha. That's milk kefir. I'm drinking my milk kefir. It helps with my anxiety. Kombucha doesn't help with my anxiety. I think it's because it has sugar in it. And I'm very responsive to sugar in a not great way. That's why I'm doing carnivore. But the milk kefir does not have sugar in it. So just whatever naturally occurring sugar is in milk that is left over after the fermentation, which I can assure you is not much. Batching Becky's too. Maybe more people will come over now. It's possible, but my lifetime's over, so I might stick around for a couple minutes just to say hi. Gotta go. Great live as always. Thank you, Doreen. You've done well tonight. Chat has maybe occupied your thoughts. I think it has, and I think the L-theanine and the milk kefir kicked in, so it has helped tremendously with my anxiety. But who knows? It might come back 4 seconds after I hit the stop button. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it is 8:30, so I think I need to head on out. I got to finish up my video for tomorrow, get it all finished and exported and uploaded and do all the things. And then hopefully go to bed at a reasonable time. Who's Becky? Becky from Acre Homestead. She's really cool. She got a cool channel. She does a lot of like freezer cooking meals and stuff like that. I'm surprised you haven't heard of Acre Homestead, or maybe you have. You just didn't realize her name was Becky. It's 1:30, so good night for me. Have a good night. I'm thankful for you to join us. Hopefully we helped with your insomnia. In the past, I was only able to be here on Monday Night Live, but I have finally, after 8 years, started my own business back up now. I can be here every Monday. Congratulations. I'm so pumped for you. That's so cool. Glad I caught it live. Take care, Anna. Yes. Everybody have an amazing night. Got 3 videos coming this week, and then we'll see you then. Peace out, sauerkraut.